It's off-season time in our Colorado Rockies draft-only franchise, and how else could you start a Rockies franchise than with the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the World Series in your first season? The Major League team ended the year 58-104, and things are not about to get any better with us transitioning to our full draft-only formula after this year. Let's take a look at some of the awards. Always good, I think, to see who the best performers are in the franchise. And Spencer Strider here winning the NL MVP. The absolute absurd strikeouts per 9 rate this year. And Ronald Acuna, his teammate, right behind him, smashing 45 homers. The fact that his steals were only at 28 is a little disappointing considering he did play a full season. He should be getting more than that. Maybe something we can take a look at the sliders. I already have stealing boosted a decent bit. Alex Bregman wins your AL MVP. He is going into free agency this year. Hit his second highest home runs in his career. Hit 322 with 38 home runs. Yeah, that's worthy of an MVP if you ask me. 40 homers, 291. Juan Soto coming in just behind him. Another guy headed to free agency. Cy Young, we got Spencer Strider. No surprise here. In the NL, a couple of Dodgers right behind him, neither of them being Shohei Ohtani. Batting title, we got a couple of Dodgers at the start, so already you're seeing how much of a problem the Dodgers will be in this franchise series. And of course, we'll start facing them next year once we start paying attention to our Major League team. And I'm both excited and also dreading facing this team with a Rule 5 squad next year. It's going to be something else. Gunnar Henderson winning the Hank Aaron Award already in his young career. Ronald Acuna winning it for the National League. Some Golden Gloves here. We'll go more quickly through here just to see if we have anybody. Brendan Rodgers, there you go. Gold Glove, second base. Somebody's going to pick up the Gold Glover here in this year's free agency. Julio Rodriguez, the Gold Glove at center field. Fun young player. And then Fernando Tatis, just a beast of a player. Nolan Jones in third place. Somebody that we traded to them, of course, mid-season. And by mid-season, I mean last episode. That's how fast we flew through season 1. But I guess the trade deadline's a lot further from mid-season than it is in a lot of other sports. There's only 2 months left after trade deadline. It's more like 2/3 of the way through the season, I suppose. But there you have it. Postseason MVP, we're back to where we started. Rutschman wins it for the AL and Will Smith for the NL. That'll do it for the awards in our first season. Nobody makes the Hall of Fame. A couple of coaches that we need to sign here. I'm going to start here with Victor Zarate. -3 drag bunting, but we get plate skills, clutch, and power for it. Yes, please. As for the manager side, I wasn't as happy with the options here, so I'm going to drop this down to a 2-year deal here for Hurst. Gets batting clutch, contact, and durability, but does lose pitching clutch, which I don't love. And both coaches would sign, which brings us to the point of the offseason where we have to officially axe this 40-man roster. Now being over with, we are ready to start from scratch with our big league roster, using, of course, only the draft to do so. We will be getting a couple of undrafted free agents here in this period. Nobody really strong, though. We just need a couple of bodies to replace some of the pitchers that we lost. But transitioning now to the people that are still on the Rockies roster, we've got some rookies here to edit some of their looks, starting here with Murillo. We're updating his look now to Brian Doe. This will be his starting look. And of course, if you have any suggestions for any of these guys that we can change some numbers, some accessories, whatever it is, hairstyles, I'm always open for it. I won't implement every suggestion all the time, but I do like giving you guys a chance to voice your opinions and maybe change some looks. But I'm pretty happy with what I got to start out with. Ramirez, I am kind of conflicted on this glove for him, but that's the one he chose automatically. I didn't give it to him. So for now, we'll let him keep it. It's now time to select the 40-man roster that we'll be working with for next season. And somehow Chase Dollander is eligible for the Rule 5 draft? How? He was drafted last year. That's not how the Rule 5 draft works, man. MLB The Show has a lot of good things about it, but their inability to give you good rosters for franchise mode is just truly astounding to me. They make mistakes like this every single game, like Marcelo Mayer not being on the Red Sox. He was somebody that I was looking to trade Nolan Jones for last year, but he's just straight up not on the roster. The first big dominoes going in free agency here. Blake Snell to the Rangers and Corbin Burns to the Angels. Teoscar Hernandez will be going to New York, which will bring us to the draft lottery. We've got number 2 odds here, and we sneak into that number 1 spot. Show me number 1. This animation takes too long, and we are number 4. We dropped 2 spots. Okay. I had tied for the best odds with the Athletics and the Nationals, and it's the Athletics that win, which brings us to the Rule 5 draft, the biggest part here of this offseason. Chris Bubich, 72 overall with B potentials, 27 years old. Yeah, I definitely would have loved to take this guy in the Rule 5 draft, so sucks that he goes before we have a chance to take him. But the rest of the crop is ours to choose from for our first selection. And just taking a look at this, yeah, he was the best player available by a decent margin. So unfortunate that the team couldn't have sucked just a little bit more. Somehow we were worse than the Nationals. But taking a look here at the board, I think Michael Chavis. I'll have to learn how to pronounce his name if we select him. Could be somebody that could provide us some power, but the best combination, I think, of overall age and potential is probably Bliss there at shortstop. We take a look here at his ratings. He did go down on a lot of hitting, unfortunately, last year, but he's got decent speed, good fielder at an important fielding position. Again, that's that age, overall potential combo is probably the best you're going to get here in this draft, other than the guy that went first. With the round 2 selection, we're going to go with Michael Chavis. Again, I'll learn how to pronounce his name before next episode. I just think getting some decent power and somebody with that kind of positional flexibility is important. It looks like the rest of the league is pretty much done picking players, so we can just kind of go position by position now. No need to try to make sure we get somebody that won't get sniped by another team. So, starting with a couple of pitchers here. Going now with Connor Overton, I think just the highest overall available. He's really good at avoiding home runs, which is important. Brendan Beck, 26 years old, B potential. Let's take a flyer on him in round 6. And then Chris Rodriguez, we don't have a lot of pitchers that throw hard. Let's add him. Now, transitioning to relievers, we got Denelson Lamet. He is older, but 70 overall. I'll take it. We want B potential. We got to go all the way down to 63 overall with 29, but I want at least one B potential guy, so we'll go for it. Andrew Moore throws pretty hard here, 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Welcome to the team. And then Dennis Santana, another guy, 99 velocity and break is an awesome combination. Let's add him as well. Dwayne Underwood at closer, 99 velocity, really good at avoiding home runs. Sure, let's do it. Doesn't really have the strikeouts per 9 you want in a closer, but it is what it is. Transitioning now to position players, we get a good defensive catcher. Now maybe going for a little bit more of a bat at the catcher position here. 34 years old, but hey, we're not asking these guys to be long-term fixtures. For the most part, we're drafting a Rule 5 team to hold down the fort until our prospects can make it, and maybe a couple of guys get surprised and become long-term players for us. Kevin Newman, 85 contact left, is just one of the best attributes you can get in this Rule 5 draft, so I'm going to take it. Locklear, a young guy who can provide some power, has B potential. I'll take it. Logan Cerny here has some contact, but is the best fielder for the outfield in the draft, so I'm going to take him to play center field for us. Obi Thomas, 24 years old, B potential. Let's take a flyer. Maybe he can turn into something. Carlos Cortez hits righties well. Let's take him. Marty Costas here, 62 contact left. Pretty solid rating. We'll take it. And then our last outfielder, Yoelqui Cespedes. Tough name to pronounce, but he actually has a face scan, which I care about probably more than I should. Back to pitching here because we need one more guy. We'll go young and B potential here with Vreeling. And then our last pick of the draft will be 23-year-old Max Anderson at third base. Rule 5 draft is complete. That's going to be the Major League roster for our next season. Alex Bregman goes, just won AL MVP. Pete Alonso to the Twins. And Tanner Scott going to be a new closer for the Reds. Gleyber Torres, had him in our Athletics franchise last season, hit 32 homers last year. And then Juan Soto to the White Sox for $28.2 million a year over 7 years, just 26 years old, hitting free agency. We got some arbitrations here to go through with our Rule 5 selections, and so we'll do that quickly. Looks like we won a lot of them, or I guess the CPU won a lot of them. Finally, somebody in our division makes something happen. It's the Padres adding a pitcher. Was debating whether or not to do spring training as a live stream, but this team is really, really bad. I'm not even sure if I want to watch this team play in spring training, so I figured you guys might not want to as well. We only have a couple of young, exciting players on the spring training roster. Chase Dollander was one of them, and he was absolutely awesome in spring training. Zach Veen was strong as well. So these two guys showing that they might not be too far away from getting call-ups here. They're going to start the year in AAA, though. Just kind of looking for guys who maybe stood out and had good spring training. So far, not much to get excited about. Dennis Santana was pretty solid there. Dwayne Underwood and Michael Cook were both good. Or Cook. I think it's pronounced Cook, even though it doesn't look like Cook at all. Matthew Nelson couldn't even get to batting 100, which is pretty unfortunate. And both of our first basemen, which is a position that you mainly get to hit, both of them sucked. Lockley here was 278 and 7 home runs. That's a pretty strong spring training that you can get excited about. Ryan Bliss hit just over 200, no homers. Cortez, one of our biggest hitters, didn't do much. Cespedes, not much either. Cerny was terrible. Marty Costas actually hit 330. So, not too many strong spring training performances other than our young guys that aren't actually going to start on the MLB roster. But it'll be interesting to see how this team performs. We've got opening day against the Los Angeles Dodgers in the little 2-game series that they start the season with. So I'm expecting to get absolutely smoked. This is the roster we're working with for season 1. Probably not going to be pretty, but I'm excited to get a more holistic view of this organization at all 3 levels here for season 2. Also to slow things down a bit. That should be fun. That's all I've got for the offseason episode. Not much to do in the offseason for a draft-only franchise. We'll be back soon with opening day, and I'll see you then.